Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Detroit Lions. We have free agency starting in about 2 weeks, and before you know it, the NFL draft will be here, and the Detroit Lions are currently playing on villain mode. They're ready to shock the league. The Minnesota Vikings trending a little bit downhill. Green Bay Packers, my Green Bay Packers rather, trending downhill. The Chicago Bears trending uphill, but they still got a long ways to go. The NFC North is wide open, and it's just begging for the Detroit Lions to step in and take it. And based on the second half of the season from the Lions, it's not a bad bet in the slightest of forms. 9-8, but don't let the record fool you. They finished the second half red hot after a disastrous start to the season. And, honestly, disastrous isn't even a good word to describe it because most of the time they were so close. But the good news is the Detroit Lions this year weren't supposed to go 9-8. They weren't supposed to be the second best team in the NFC North and just like half a game rather, out of the playoff picture. They had a Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are they're perfectly on plan. That's the thing. They're not ahead of the plan. They're on plan. And as a Packers fan, I'm telling you, it's terrifying. It is quite literally terrifying. Now, in recent Detroit Lion news, they're having discussions to re-sign Jamal Williams. That is beautiful news. They have 100% faith in Jared Goff, as they should, because I was listening to, I think Colin Cowherd is how you say his name. I was listening to him earlier today, and he made a really fascinating statement that I don't disagree with at all, and I think a lot of Lions fans would agree with me here. If Aaron Rodgers, tomorrow, were to retire, who's the best quarterback in the NFC North? It's not even the NFC North, rather. Who's the best quarterback in the NFC in general? There's arguments out there, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, but why isn't Jared Goff in that conversation? Because he should be. Super Bowl, he has playoff experience. He has NFL experience, former #1 pick of the draft. Why not the Detroit Lions? All right, ladies and gentlemen, though, welcome back to the channel. Obviously, today we're talking about the Detroit Lions. I am extremely excited for these kind of bad boy Detroit Lions. It reminds me of the Pistons, but it's in my era. I'm only 23, so I wasn't able to. And once again, I'm from Chicago, Packers fan, but I'm a Bulls fan, which Lions fans probably aren't. It's probably not exactly what you want to hear watching this video, but from what I've gathered, the bad boy Detroit Pistons were very fun to watch. All right, and the reason I bring up the bad boy, the villain mentality, is because there was an interesting article written, I think yesterday, might have been today. Detroit Online is his Twitter handle on prideofdetroit.com, and it was basically just Lions GM Brad Holmes spotted wearing a villain hoodie at the 2023 NFL Combine, and it just kind of reminded me of this hype for Detroit. We had the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago, and right now, the NBA playoffs are in full swing, getting ready for the NBA playoffs rather, and the NFL is getting back. The draft stuff is just getting started, and before you know it, like I said, free agency starts in a couple of weeks. It's 2 weeks away, I think, from this date right now. Detroit's going to be active in it, whether it's re-signing their current talent, whether it is going out and acquiring players. But one thing is for sure, this GM, this front office, this coaching staff, these players they have right now, even if it were to stand packed and they just ran back the exact same team, which obviously won't happen, the tides are turning. All right, the tides are very clearly turning, and I like this villain mentality. It puts a chip on their shoulder, and you could tell all season long, especially in the second half of the season, they had a chip on their shoulder. This is a team that is well prepared. They execute properly. They're well coached, and they have a ton of talent. Quite literally, a ton of talent. This was the 5th best offense in the National Football League this past season. Now, I know defensively, statistically, they're ranked fourth worst, 28th in the league. This is a team that started 1-6. Keep in mind, a lot of those losses, like to start off the season, 3-point loss to the team that made it to the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles. They lost 4 points on the road to the Minnesota Vikings, who had a phenomenal season. Seattle, 3-point loss, another playoff team there. Miami, 4-point loss. Yeah, there were like 2 bad losses in there, New England and Dallas, but this team was still etching out their identity, and they've pretty much found it now. And on both sides of the ball, they're completely loaded. Now, this draft is going to be fascinating. They currently have the 6th pick. That is, shout out Matthew Stafford, right? Lion OG right there. I saw an interesting mock draft earlier today, and it was from Russell Brown, and it had them trading back. You know, the Carolina Panthers are looking for a quarterback, so it had them getting a 2nd rounder and then a 4th rounder for next season and the 9th pick of this year's draft, which is currently where Carolina is slated. And I thought it was a really good draft. I really liked it. Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback out of Oregon, that is a big target for this Lions team, whether it's through the draft, which I anticipate they'll use both of their 1st-round picks targeting the defensive side of the ball. The cornerback is a position where if they make some upgrades, that fixes a lot. But keep in mind, once again, the second half of the season for Detroit, defensively, it was not bad at all. They got stops when they needed to make stops. They got plenty of turnovers. They were getting to the quarterback. Aiden Hutchinson's a dog. James Houston's a dog. Kirby Joseph's a dog. Seriously, this team is so good at drafting. Kalijah Hansey going at 18. The defensive lineman out of Pittsburgh. Great pick. Round 2, 48th, Minnesota center John Michael Schmitz. Round 2, 55th pick, Jack Campbell, linebacker out of Iowa. Round 3, 66th pick, quarterback Hendon Hooker. I wouldn't be surprised if they were to draft a possible eventual, like several years down the line, eventual replacement to Jared Goff. Hendon Hooker, if they were to do it, would probably be that guy. He's kind of like a low-risk, high-reward, or I guess actually high-risk, high-reward guy, quarterback out of Tennessee. You know, I've seen a lot of mock drafts having them take wide receivers and tight ends, maybe even a running back towards the later part of the draft, but I anticipate the offensive line to be drafted early on in their first couple of picks, and mainly the defense. A bunch of mock drafts, the cornerback, the defensive line, the linebacker position, specifically the secondary. That's really what I've seen, though. This team has money to spend. I don't think that they're going to go out here and break the bank, but they're in a perfect spot. It's not like it's Super Bowl or bust for this Lions team next year, but they actually have, like, especially offensively right now, they have a Super Bowl capable offense. So this Lions team is going to be legit. We all know that. And if you're a Lions fan, which I know a lot of Lions fans, I used to live in Detroit, a lot of families still in the Detroit area, the hype is very real for good reason. So let me know what you're thinking about this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. If you guys want more Lions videos,